Hello, welcome to our channel. Last week in health and biotech, breakthroughs span from menopause to oncology, dermatology to vision care, and even into the heart of Washington's drug pricing debate. From new FDA approvals to clinical milestones redefining treatment boundaries, here's what you need to know. We begin this week with a significant step forward for women's health. On October 24th, the U.S. FDA approved a novel, non-hormonal therapy for menopausal vasomotor symptoms, better known as hot flashes and night sweats. The new drug, elinzanetant, will be marketed under the brand name Lynkuet, adding an important alternative to the treatment landscape. Menopause, a natural life stage that typically occurs between ages 45 and 55, brings hormonal changes that can significantly affect quality of life and chronic disease risk. Until now, most available treatments have relied on hormone replacement therapy, which is not suitable or acceptable for everyone. Elinzanetant represents a fresh approach. By blocking NK1 and NK3 receptors, it calms the overactivation of KND neurons in the brain's hypothalamus, neurons that become enlarged and hyperactive as estrogen declines. This overactivity disrupts the body's thermal regulation, producing those infamous waves of heat. The FDA's approval was based on two pivotal clinical trials, OASIS-1 and OASIS-2, enrolling nearly 800 women who experienced at least 50 moderate to severe hot flashes per week. Participants received either elinzanetant 120 milligrams or placebo nightly for 12 weeks. Results were clear. Women taking elinzanetant saw a statistically significant reduction in both the frequency and severity of their hot flashes, on average, at least 2 fewer events every 24 hours compared with placebo. Side effects included mild headache, fatigue, dizziness, and drowsiness. Some patients also showed elevated liver enzymes, so baseline liver function tests are recommended before starting treatment. For millions seeking relief without hormones, Lynkuet could become a long-awaited answer. The product is expected to reach U.S. pharmacies in November 2025, marking a new chapter in the management of menopause and quality-of-life medicine. In dermatology, innovation continues to shift toward oral small molecules designed to precisely target immune pathways once reserved for injectables. Also on October 24th, Johnson & Johnson unveiled encouraging one-year data from its iconic total phase 3 study of Icotrokinra, a first-in-class oral peptide that selectively blocks the IL-23 receptor. Psoriasis, affecting more than 125 million people worldwide, including 8 million Americans, is an autoimmune condition where skin cells overproduce and form painful, inflamed plaques. Roughly 1 in 4 patients have cases considered moderate to severe. Icotrokinra binds with ultra-high precision, single-digit picomolar affinity, to the IL-23 receptor, silencing a key driver of the inflammatory cascade in psoriasis. Presented at the 2025 Fall Clinical Dermatology Conference, the new 52-week data showed impressive durability. 67% of patients achieved clear or almost clear skin by week 52.44% reached completely clear skin. In patients with a difficult-to-treat hand and foot variants, clearance rates rose from 42% at week 16 to 62% at week 52, an especially hopeful sign for those living with physically and emotionally demanding disease burdens. Experts caution that full peer-reviewed publication is still pending, but the trend is unmistakable. The future of psoriasis therapy may lie in pills, not needles. With oral IL-23 inhibitors advancing, companies are racing to make long-term disease control more convenient, accessible, and patient-friendly. Ophthalmology saw its own FDA milestone this week. On October 20th, Epioxa, a riboflavin 5-phosphate ophthalmic solution from Glaukos Corporation, received approval for cross-linking therapy in progressive keratoconus, a corneal condition that can lead to severe vision loss if untreated. Keratoconus, often underdiagnosed, causes the cornea to thin and bulge, distorting vision. The current standard of care involves removing the corneal epithelium before cross-linking, a painful process with lengthy recovery that discourages many patients from seeking treatment. Epioxa offers a less invasive path. Activated by UV light, it strengthens collagen bonds within the cornea to halt disease progression, without removing the epithelium. The new office-based protocol takes under 30 minutes, requires no anesthesia, and could dramatically improve access to care. FDA approval rested on data from 2 pivotal phase 3 trials involving over 300 patients. After 1 year, 90% achieved disease stabilization. The most common side effect was temporary corneal haze. At an estimated $5,000 per eye, Epioxa is competitively priced and could reduce the need for as many as 50,000 corneal transplants annually in the United States. Beyond its clinical importance, the approval signals FDA's growing agility with device-drug hybrids, a frontier likely to reshape personalized eye care. From the eye to the bloodstream, oncology's attention grabber last week was GRAIL's Pathfinder 2 interim results, unveiled October 17th at the European Society for Medical Oncology, ESMO, Congress 2025. The company's Gallery blood test uses advanced analysis of cell-free DNA methylation patterns to detect over 50 types of cancer, sometimes years before symptoms appear. By reading subtle chemical modifications in DNA fragments circulating in the bloodstream, the test can even suggest where a potential tumor originated. In this large-scale, prospective study of 6,500 adults over age 50, adding Gallery to standard cancer screenings like mammograms and colonoscopies increased early detection 7-fold. The test caught 24 stage 1 to 3 cancers that traditional screenings missed, while maintaining a false positive rate below 1%. Oncologists emphasize that Gallery isn't a replacement for established screening but a powerful adjunct, especially for higher-risk individuals. Follow-up imaging remains essential for any positive result. At an initial $949 price point, the test's broad adoption will depend on Medicare coverage decisions expected in 2026. Still, the results suggest we're entering a new era. Liquid biopsy as a population health tool, capable of reducing late-stage diagnoses that claim 600,000 American lives each year. The market response was swift. GRAIL's parent company shares surged 15%, underscoring investor confidence in what could be the biggest shift in cancer screening since colonoscopy. Next, in neuro-oncology, innovation reached the operating room. On October 21st, GT Medical Technologies announced interim results from its RHODES clinical trial, evaluating GammaTile Therapy for patients with operable brain metastases. Brain metastases affect up to 40% of all cancer patients, often drastically limiting both survival and cognitive function. For operable cases, the current standard, surgery followed by external beam stereotactic radiation, carries a 1-year recurrence rate near 30%. And 1 in 3 patients may delay or miss radiation entirely due to logistical hurdles. GammaTile aims to bridge that gap. These tiny cesium-131 brachytherapy implants are placed directly into the surgical cavity immediately after tumor removal, delivering radiation exactly where it's needed while sparing healthy brain tissue. In the RHODES trial, involving 230 patients across 30 U.S. centers, GammaTile cut 12-month recurrence rates to 15%, compared with 40% for external beam therapy. Neurocognitive function remained comparable between groups, while side effects like mild swelling were manageable on an outpatient basis. Each procedure uses up to 20 tiles and costs roughly $25,000, but the potential benefit is profound, reducing the need for roughly 100,000 whole brain irradiations annually and preserving quality of life for patients and families. GT Medical CEO Perlengo called the results deeply encouraging, emphasizing that delivering radiation when and where it's needed most may redefine the treatment standard for brain metastases. The findings propel intraoperative radiation therapy from niche to mainstream, a tangible example of how biotechnology and surgical innovation can converge for smarter, faster, and more humane cancer care. Finally, the week's biggest headline didn't come from a lab, but from the White House podium. On October 20th, President Donald Trump reignited political and financial debate with a bold promise to cut the price of GLP-1 agonists like Ozempic and Wegovy by 50% through Medicare negotiation expansion. GLP-1s, originally designed for diabetes but now dominating the weight loss market, have become the pharmaceutical industry's gold rush. According to William Blair's Q3 report, Global sales have already reached $28 billion this year. But Trump's proposed pricing overhaul, framed as making these drugs affordable for every American family, could ripple through the industry. Danish manufacturer Novo Nordisk, maker of both Ozempic and Wegovy, swiftly responded by appointing Elena Ramirez, a former HHS advisor, as its new head of corporate affairs to steer the coming policy turbulence. Analysts warn the move could erode margins by up to 25% for Novo Nordisk and Eli Lilly, while potentially driving broader affordability for patients. The CDC estimates that improving GLP-1 access could prevent 1.2 million diabetes complications annually, but industry insiders worry it could also constrain R&D budgets for next-generation therapies like oral semaglutides. Trump's announcement aligns with his broader 2025 populist pricing agenda, a mix of deregulation and consumer-first messaging. Behind the scenes, pharmacy benefit managers are already lobbying to self-regulate in anticipation of stricter oversight. This moment captures the collision of medicine, markets, and politics, one side aiming for affordability, the other defending innovation. The next year will test how far public policy can go before it stifles the science it hopes to democratize. That's all for today. From menopause to oncology, from skin to sight, innovation is rewriting the boundaries of modern medicine, 1 week at a time. If you found this content helpful, don't forget to give a thumbs up, subscribe, and hit the notification bell. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time.